I better make sure I start recording here, Hunter. We're going to start recording, so back up just a second for the folks that recording on, because we're not convinced Facebook is saving our videos, right?
Right. We're not convinced Facebook is allowing us to download our original way of converting this to podcast form. We're not convinced we can do it still.
They've updated or changed something, and it's not working.
So here, we'll just do this again.
So.
Good. Hello, everybody,
Right.
podcast and Facebook viewers. Shock Joxx here, coming at you live from a Wednesday in Cherryville, North Carolina. And the biggest story out of all stories is that Madison Bumgarner has been competing secretly in rodeos.
I was showing the folks on Facebook we're going to have musical guests maybe here in just a few minutes. Shane Willis. Maybe he'll share some of his song here called Your Love. He's going to be in there with Milton on the morning show.
Okay.
But, yeah, folks, we're talking.
I think Milton's in there pulling a JP.
Milton will play a song in there sometimes and
just
he'll
kind of kick back
he'll
and
lose
relax.
it. He'll lose it in the
Oh,
morning.
man.
But that is from folks. Go to Rancho Rio's Facebook page. You can check out Madison Bumgarner. There he is over here on the left side.
He's bigger than a horse.
Oh,
He's a big man.
look
Like
how
a miniature horse.
I mean, the other guy. Yeah, look at the other guy that was. How much bigger he was a minute ago, and then now
Oh, I know.
Mason or Madison. What do you want to call him for this story? We'll call him Mason. How about
Mason.
that? Or
Mason Saunders.
Oh, what he messed up doing was winning. Because they're going to take your pictures,
Oh, yeah.
and then somebody's going to figure that one out.
Giants affiliate.
He could at least be wearing a Cowboys hat or something to kind of cover his...
CBS Sports 13 hours ago. Giants affiliate to honor Madison Bumgarner's rodeo alias with Mason Saunders night. Make money off of it. Why not?
Well, yeah, come on in. You can grab either one. Where's Randall? You can sit right there. Either one will be fine. We got a musical guest here just a few minutes. Shane Willis joining us in a second. He wanted to make sure that Hunter give a mic check over there. We'll see if I got you.
Hey, mic check.
Y'all hear him?
Yeah, oh yeah, I can hear him. Maybe pull it a little bit closer to yourself.
Yeah.
I got you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hey,
how you doing?
Hey, man,
I
how
can't
are
hear
you?
him at all.
Good. You
Great.
can't get him? I got him.
You got him, Zach?
I got him.
Okay,
got me?
I don't. That's just I've got a
Check,
different setup system here. Now try.
All right. Hey, how about you?
I
You got me
can
now?
I can there if I mash my button and hold it here, but I can hear you just fine in here. All right.
All right.
Shane Willis in the house now. Well, I need to do Hunter. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, tell him what we were just talking about. See what he thinks about that real quick, and I'll get it set up and the cameras on him and everything.
Shane, you a
real quick.
baseball fan?
A little bit. Yeah,
Little bit
I'm
of
a
a
Braves fan.
Braves fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know the name Madison Bumgarner? He's North Carolina boy.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have heard of him.
Yeah, Matt, he's a World Series MVP from 2014,
Oh, wow.
San Francisco. Yeah, and a lot of people a lot of teams don't like when their stars go out and try and do other things, especially if they're dangerous. How would you feel if I told you that Madison Bumgarner also is known by Mason Sanders and he participates in rodeos in his downtime?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my opinion would be you gotta be careful.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cause,
That's a couple $1 million arm he has right
Absolutely.
there. I mean, he's a
We
starting pitcher, and
Yeah,
You're
we
gonna
used to
go
raise
out there.
horses, and
Yeah.
and my dad, and I've rode many bucking horses.
yeah,
I tried a bucking bull a few times.
right.
That didn't work out.
Well, I don't know if he was competing with any, like bull riding or
Yeah.
breaking
Looked like
horses.
he was
or
trying to rope
yeah.
a bull.
Well, even then
Well,
with that arm,
yeah.
whew, I know.
I mean, that's a money arm. So I
That
don't
is a
know
money arm. That is
it's
a
a
money
wise
arm.
decision. But hey, he's made a lot of money.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I said.
you know,
So far,
He
he's
made $25,000 winning one of those.
Yeah.
wow, that's awesome. I guess. I mean,
I don't
hey,
know if his
that's what
insurance
you
company
love.
would think that. With
Yeah.
the with the
they
baseball
knew.
thing, they probably had a heart attack.
They're all every insurance company scrolling around. Do we have a Mason Saunders? Do we have a Mason Saunders?
So you've been bucked. Have you been bucked pretty?
Oh yeah.
A couple of
I've-
times?
I've been bucked off many times.
Okay,
Whew,
well,
man, I couldn't
I
imagine.
say yesterday was Ric Flair's 71st birthday. If everybody knows Ric Flair, and he was the limousine riding, jet flying. I guess Mason Rudolph would be the bull riding, jet flying.
That's great.
man, that's my ears right there. It's just I can't believe that he's out there doing that right now. Well, we've got Shane Willis in the house, and we were showing folks your website there for a second before you got in here, and
Awesome.
you got a little force. I tell you what, Shane, let me make sure that I'm good on sound, and let me switch you over
Yep.
to this one,
Okay.
and then we'll be 100% sure That's my backup mic, and somebody
you
unprofessional
can come
plugged
sit
that
with
in.
me.
and
I
It
don't
was
bite.
actually me.
It's mild.
I
It
promise.
was low. It was low where I could hear.
Go
it.
ahead now.
Hey.
That sounds wonderful
much
to
better.
me.
Yeah, there
That
you go.
Sounds wonderful.
Better.
to me.
Much
Yeah,
better.
right. All right, Shane, you tell a little bit about you. Where you from? What's going
All
on?
right. Well, my name's Shane Willis. I'm from Lincoln, North Carolina.
There you go.
I've worked out in Nashville, Tennessee, a lot. Currently I'm doing a new album. I've been writing a bunch of songs, and
There you go.
I took a break for a little while from music, but I've played music my whole life. I started out when I was young. Also, we traveled a lot. I was in a group called Wild Heart, and we done really well. We played all over the country, and I've played with a lot of big names that everybody's heard, from Blake Shelton to Darryl Worley, the Dixie Chicks, just a lot of different groups. Done a lot of shows with them, and I came home for a while. I had to raise some youngins, and which has been a blessing to us. But we did that, and I took a break from music, but I got back into it, and now I've kind of got back on the side of just wanting to help people. And so I've been writing songs, and we've been trying to get this album done. Kenny, my drummer over here, he's a big part of it.
Have you ever met Damian Horn?
Damian Horn.
From Nashville? He's up with Big and Rich.
I've heard his name. I have not. I've been working with a few different people up there. A guy named Bruce Boughton. He's well known up there. He does a lot of work with a lot of different record companies. He actually owns a lot of publishing, some of Garth Brooks music, stuff like
Good
that,
deal.
which is a big deal. But we've been doing a lot of stuff together. We don't know where it's going to go,
Right.
but
Yeah.
all we know is we're having fun making music. And and the biggest thing in my heart and on my mind is being able to give back and do for people that's struggling and
Yeah.
needing help, and that's all I care about.
Awesome.
And that's what we're doing. We're doing this big show coming up.
Well, tell us a little bit about because we have a slightly different audience than Milton does, of course, on the
got
Swamp
you.
Shop and everything. So this is the Shock Joxx live sports podcast, and we put it up on
Awesome.
of course Spotify and Apple and everything as well.
Yeah.
And then so really we cover high school sports on Friday nights. So on this we like to cover everything else.
Right.
So you said
Gotcha.
you're Tar Heels and Braves. so
I'm a Tar Heels fan.
both of these guys
Hey,
are
you're
Tar Heels
fine.
and Braves
You're
fans.
fine right
Yeah.
there.
Tar Heels have-
You can come back. That's all I need to say.
Congrats
You
to
can
Tar
come
Heels
back.
having the big win last night. So the way I see it is if State beat Duke
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
22 points
Yeah.
and Carolina beat State,
Twice.
yeah,
Twice,
so that
I mean-
pretty much says all it needs to say.
Yeah,
and
that's what-
Carolina
exactly.
would have beat Duke, but we got kind of
Got local
kind of
placement.
shafted on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, we were actually at the Hornets game, reporting on that during that game, and I was standing at a TV, and there was, I would say, half the stadium was watching and looking at
Yeah.
their phones during the Duke Carolina
Oh,
game.
yeah.
I was paying
It was
attention
bad.
to that one.
Yeah.
It was. That's just
The Hornets
say
were
that-
only down about 25 at that point.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
game-
Without Dirk and Luca playing
Yeah,
against them, so
That
Yeah.
ball game was a little bit more entertaining than the
Oh,
one
it
we
was.
were trying to watch.
It was.
So
I'll say that they had 20 chances to win,
yeah.
and they should have won, but hey,
All right, yep.
couldn't hit a free throw.
Good-
That's
good
part
hit a free
of
throw.
it, you know?
Well, you think they need to practice more free throws?
They need to do something.
Do you think they
Yeah.
need to?
Oh yeah.
Hey, did Duke win last night?
No,
they got beat.
they did.
Everybody did DukeWin.com. Go and check that out. The answer is no.
Yeah, did Duke
Well,
win?
check out the shirt there behind you. Friends don't let friends go to Duke. Just
That's
say
exactly
no.
right.
So,
I think they gave up 112 to Wake Forest.
Oh wow.
yeah.
Double
And over
overtime.
your left shoulder is a Rasheed Wallace Washington Bullets jersey. So for
There you
the
go,
old
man.
Tar Heel fans right
That's
there.
awesome. That is awesome.
So Shane's in a good place today in
Yeah.
Tar Heel land of Calvin down the hall. I showed him the Tar Heel room and all
Yeah,
the posters.
that was sweet.
All
As
the
long as my
posters,
son
yeah.
don't get him sick, I hope. So, hey, tell me about your kids. You wanna talk
I got a daughter. She's 19. Her name's
Okay.
Destiny Self.
Yep.
And she goes to Wingate University.
Yeah.
She's going to be something. I
Yeah.
hope.
That's
She's-
the plan.
This is, right now it's pharmacy school, and I think this
Okay.
is going to be her path.
I was gonna say, is there any
Yeah.
musical?
Not a lick.
Yeah, not a lick.
Actually, she did sing a song with me, and it's on
Yeah.
it's on my website. And she can sing a little bit.
Yeah.
And she sings in church, and then her brother, his name's Caden Self.
Yeah.
And these are my basically their extended family.
Yeah.
We've had them for a long time. And
Okay.
They're just like my own kids, you know. But he's goes to Lincoln High School, and he's a sophomore.
Okay.
And he don't sing either. he loves sports, and
Right.
he swims, does things like that. But he's a good kid.
Is he playing anything over at Lincoln yet as a sophomore? Any sports or anything? He's got
Well,
involved in anything?
he did swim, and
Okay.
actually this year they done better. This first time they've went as far as they've went in the regionals.
I honestly didn't
in
know Lincoln
Charlotte.
had a swim team.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
so that's
A lot of people
that's
don't.
news to me.
And-
Where do they swim at the Citizen Center? Or,
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
okay.
they do. Actually, yeah, over at the YMCA.
Right.
Yeah, and so they swim there, but a lot of people don't know they have a swim team, and they hadn't done that well. But every year they're getting better and
Think
better.
about
And this
the
year they
Lions.
went to the regionals in Charlotte.
Neat. That's good when the
Yeah.
schools can have
Absolutely.
different type of sports for.
But I went to
different
West
kids.
Lincoln now. I graduated from West.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and I don't know if you guys have seen that Cannon Bridges, I think it was. And,
Yep.
And the other kid, they finished first in the state.
Xander Pendergrass both
Yeah,
won
Pendergrass,
state
that's
championships.
right.
They were
Awesome.
off the
Okay.
backfield for the West,
West
Lincoln
Lincoln
Rebels
Rebels, yep.
football team this year, and
Yeah.
that's tough two guys to tackle. I think Cannon ended up setting the county record maybe.
Yeah.
This year, so the Rebels had a good year with Coach Ponder in the gang. So
Yeah, they did.
go Rebels, go
Yeah,
Braves,
that's right.
Go Tar
Go
Heels.
Tar
Anybody
Heels.
else?
Well-
What, NFL? You Panthers or?
Oh, yeah.
or
I got to be a Panther fan. We live in North Carolina.
You're not a Redskins or Cowboys
I was
fan.
49ers.
Okay,
I was Steve Young, Jerry Rice.
I was
Up
wondering. You're too
yeah.
old to be a born Panthers
That's
fan,
right.
right?
yeah.
That's why.
I was 49ers.
Well,
and then
see-
after they left, Steve Young.
Right.
But you were,
I
you were
said,
happy this year, weren't you?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Deep down, the kid deep down was like, "Come on,
Yeah,
let's just
that's
have
right.
let's just have Joe Montana."
Yeah, one of my
walk
good
through these
buddies, he's a
doors."
Kansas City fan. But
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, man, I'm pulling for you, but I'm pulling for them too.
Do you
yeah.
think
I don't
San
care who wins.
Francisco should take a chance at Brady if he says, I want to be, he was born and raised a 49ers fan, and he said, I want to be, what if he says, I want to come to San Francisco?
He ain't going nowhere. There's no way. There's no way he can go anywhere.
Yeah.
He's a legend where he's at. A lot of people don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do like him. You have to respect him for what he is.
Right.
And, hey, I like him.
Well, he's been getting paid, what, about $2,500? And he's asking what I'm looking at is
30.
3 years for $100 million is what they're asking.
That ain't bad.
And yeah,
That's not bad.
That's still a
Unbelievable.
discount.
but do the Patriots? The question is, do the Patriots want to do that? Does Belichick want
I
to do
don't
that?
think they will.
Belichick doesn't like to pay
What I
anybody.
don't like to see is these guys, these quarterbacks, go out like some of them do. They just hang on and hang on and hang on.
Yeah.
I'd rather see them go out as
Yeah.
a legend.
I
Finish
agree.
Just
on a-
quit
You
now.
want him
You
to
know-
pull a Peyton Manning Super Bowl right off into the
Absolutely.
sunset. And I
That's
thought,
exactly
I
right.
was expecting Brady not to do that this past year, but the year
Yeah.
prior
Yeah.
when he went the lowest scoring Super Bowl I've ever seen
Oh yeah.
against the Rams. I
Yeah.
thought, well, this is a perfect time just to
Yeah, just
hitch
go
it
ahead
out of
and-
here.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know they love the game, and it's hard to stop doing something you love. I can't imagine,
Right.
but still, yet I wish he'd go out like a champ.
As a Panthers fan, I know you just said you're a Panthers fan here in North Carolina. Do you know exactly what they're going to do with Cam Newton? Do you have anything in your heart you would like to see them do at the quarterback position?
Well, I'd like to see him do what they pay him to do, which is
Yeah.
run the ball.
Okay.
I'd like to see him run. I'd like to see him throw and run.
Yeah.
To be more of a threat, to be another man on the field that they got to deal with. That's
Oh, yeah.
That's when he was his best. That's how he won championships.
They made
in-
the defenses go
college.
11 on 11.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my opinion, if you're gonna keep him, you got to get your money's
Gotta-
I
worth.
think
Yeah,
they
that's
announced
exactly
yesterday that it looks like they're going to, and it looks like from what I could gather is they're doing it because he's not healthy.
Right.
Right.
They
There's
can't trade
nobody,
him.
right. They're not anybody.
See, that's what I read
it's-
into
what's-
it.
Yeah,
Other
he's not
people-
healthy to trade.
Yeah.
They come out. They every time you ask them a question, they say he's not healthy.
Yeah.
If he was their starter, number one starter, would they not say with the new owner and new coach not be like,
Cam's
this
our
is
guy.
Superman, boys,
Yeah,
we're
Cam's
getting it
our guy,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't said nothing
And
like
coach,
that. It's,
and
well, if he's healthy,
and Matt
we'll
Rule.
see.
Matt Rule came out and said he's not promising spots to any players in his first year coaching. He's not guaranteeing playing time.
I mean,
to anybody.
Should a reporter, the question I think someone should ask Hunter, currently right now, what is the Panthers depth chart? And see what
it's
Rule
not.
says. And see what Rule
It'd be
says.
silence.
Yeah, it's not.
What do you think he'd
It's not
say?
there.
Silence.
He'd say on to Cincinnati.
On to-
I mean, could you imagine if Jerry Jones? Let's just use Jerry Jones as an owner. If he was sitting beside Cam, how would he be addressing Cam? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
He'd be like,
wow.
"This is you know how Jerry is.
Yeah.
He'd be
Get out there and
all
play
over it,
football.
You know. And,
Oh, yeah.
So we got a definitely problem. We've talked about it on here before, and I'm ready to move on if we can get some draft picks. But if he's not healthy, you're not going to get any compensation for him. So throw
Right.
him out there.
Yeah.
See if he can build. If he's healthy, he can build up his tradability again. And then if they want to start over, they're going to have to start over. So because I don't want to waste McCaffrey. And we're going to waste
And
him
we
because,
are.
I mean,
We-
he's been there 2 years. Is that right? 2?
And he's gonna be wore
And,
out.
He's going to be,
Yeah.
And, so I'm concerned about wasting a really, really good player
Yep, me too. He's awesome.
for being horrible. We're going to be horrible.
It's gonna be horrible. You just accept.
I'm
the
hoping
fate.
not.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be a
there
long
is
year.
times where
Look, hey, in
You
the
know-
words of what James Borrego said to me, head coach of the Hornets, you got to be competitive.
You know,
All right?
years
So you
ago
can't
in
just
the-
be horrible. You got to
That's
be
right.
competitive.
Years ago
Even
in
though
the-
they're getting blown out
I
by
know.
30, you got
I
to be
know.
competitive.
years ago in the NFC South, if you finish last, the next year you finish first.
Borrego got a little smart
Yeah.
with Hunter a week ago,
Yeah.
and so Hunter's not a fan of him right
Oh
now.
yeah, he's
No.
holding a little in his
Well,
heart.
in
I have
Borrego's
a little
defense,
animosity, all right?
Borrego's defense, I think Hunter didn't know who he was, right?
Well, yeah. Guess what? You should have been like, well, we don't know you.
Like, who are you? I'm the coach of the
Yeah,
Hornets.
for sure.
We don't know.
He looked at
great.
me and said, "Who are you?" And I should have looked right
Okay.
back. Said, "Who are you?"
That's awesome.
Well, and Zach, Tom confirmed the attitude from the coach. So they had just got beat by 30 as well.
Oh yeah.
And Hunter apparently asked a fair question. So it wasn't like he wasn't like, Coach, y'all
No.
stunk.
Are y'all tanking?
Well, Milton said he's gonna be ready for just a minute. You want to
Okay.
play any type of tune or anything before you
I-
go in, or
yeah, I
before,
can. I can
just
talk to
something
Miss
quick before you go around? We got Shane Willis in out of Lincoln, a former Rebel, and we're gonna show you his website here online, folks. ShaneWillisMusic.com. I'll shut up.
All right. Yeah, I'll do you a little bit of this one here. This is actually a song that we're releasing right now. Just released out a couple days ago. A song I wrote called "What Country Boys Do." 38's on my 350, burning tires and rolling smoke. Jacked up high, a gun rack in the window. A fire so high it'll reach the sky. We blow things up on the 4th of July. Music turned up loud as we play it for the crowd. That's what country, that's what country, that's what country boys do. Make our own rules, drink our home brew, school cans and cowboy booze. We like to play some Hank with our radios cranked. That's what country boys do. Working from 9 to 5, mixed with a little more overtime. A pretty little woman that's waiting on me at home. I pull in, it's her pretty smile, her long blonde hair and dark green eyes. She gives me them butterflies from head to toe. A campfire down by the lake, romancing on my tailgate. That's what country, that's what country, that's what country boys do. Make our own rules, drink our home brew, school cans and cowboy booze. We like to play some Jones and the Rolling Stones. That's what country boys do. That's a little of it.
Outstanding.
great.
One
Yeah,
man or
great.
2 man clap.
Thank you.
Outstanding,
Hey, that was
Shane.
great.
Milton and them are going to love you in there. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, folks, listen on the podcast part. Shane Willis, ShaneWillisMusic.com.
Yes, sir.
Make sure I say that right. And he's about to get on the radio here with Milton and the gang, but joining the Shock Joxx podcast. Little surprise music for all of us. I'm glad you're in there here this morning. We started early today for a few different reasons, but glad to have the Panthers fan,
That's right.
Braves fan,
Tar Heel fan.
Tar Heel fan. I mean, from Lincoln, and you just this is
You
your
fit
type
the
of
bill.
player.
You fit the bill.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having
Thank
me.
you.
All right, you're
sir.
welcome, Shane. Thanks for joining us,
All right.
Shane
Thanks so
Willis,
much.
ShaneWillisMusic.com. Thanks, Shane. Have a good interview there with Milton, and we're going to break down more Cam Newton talk here in just a second. Thanks, buddy. Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Go Heels.
Yes,
Go
sir.
Eagles. Yes, yes, sir.
So that was Shane Willis, folks. There, outstanding song there. Yeah, that's one of the ones you just kind of just hit repeat on the radio. I believe Hunter. I think he's got something there. Tuesday at the Combine. This is Rule making his comments, and since his first introductory press conference. So make sure I say this right for everybody reading and watching. I want to create a culture where there's nothing promised to anybody. I think in years 2 and 3, maybe it'll be a little bit different. But that being said, I don't think that has anything to do with Cam. That just has to do with the overall philosophy. When it comes to Cam's a special player. So really the only thing that really matters right now is getting him healthy. But I do want to say I'm excited to have him here, and I want to be here. I want to coach him. I just have to make sure that the coaching part of it is to make sure he's healthy. Again,
he circled all around the main question that all football fans and Panther fans have is he healthy? Is he healthy? They never. Well, he kind of alluded to it, and that's by him saying there at the end to make sure he's healthy. But that, like, how far along in the process are you thinking it's going to take for him to get 100% healthy and back to where you think he'll be up to playing speed?
Well, let's look at let's gauge that with an NBA analogy or Kevin Durant, right? Are the Nets saying, well, if Kevin Durant comes back in, I ain't promising him a spot. I just hope he gets healthy.
Right.
You know, they're saying this is our guy.
Yeah.
He's going to lead this team.
Right.
He's hurt right now. Once he gets better, we're all in on him. So there's definitely two, sides to the spectrum on two superstars.
Yeah.
So they're not all in on him, whether they say they are or not. He's hurt. He's not tradable right now. They probably got in the waters a little bit, and what they're wanting to get back, they're probably not even close. So they're just saying, you know what? If we can't get back what we're at least wanting, and I'm going to say at least a third-round pick, then we're just going to say, what's it going to hurt us to throw him in and have a chance to see if he's any good anymore or get his trade value up?
I think the Panthers have been 50-50 on him for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
They just haven't had the moment to where it could be like, all right, now we can move off of him. Because they still had old management in there. Yep. Tepper was just getting settled in. This is only like his second or third year owning the team now. He's starting to settle in, got his own guys in there. And what we've seen, and I say it multiple times every time I see a player or a position coach or a coach leaving, they're cleaning out the old guard that was Jerry Richardson.
Yeah.
Anything that had Richardson's fingerprints on it is out the door now.
Yeah,
Christian McCaffrey is Tepper's guy. Okay, that was Tepper's first pick. Seriously, it was Christian McCaffrey. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to ownership, because we see how ownership has played a lot of the part on why Brady has been able to stay so long with the Patriots. Everybody knows that Bill Belichick had his guy in Garoppolo, but Robert Kraft said,
well,
hey.
At the end of the day, they're signing the checks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they're signing the checks. They can actually make the final call. So if Tepper looks at Rule and says, look, I know you might want to work with Cam, but I got suitors over here in the back that can get us some more draft. They can get us some draft picks, some draft capital, or maybe multiple players to possibly help our roster, which needs all the help in the world. And then we could probably get a quarterback next year or the year after, or ride it out with Kyle Allen.
I mean, look, okay, really, the only thing that matters right now is getting him healthy. But I want to say I'm excited to have him here, and I want him to be here. I want to coach him. I just have to make sure that the coaching part of it is make sure he's healthy. Like Zach said, the Nets aren't saying Durant might get to start if he comes back.
Right.
Like that, they're not saying, well, of course that's our quarterback. Of course he's our MVP. Of course he's our number one. Of course he's our starter. At no point have they said Cam Newton is the starter for 2020 or right now. And like I was saying to Shane a minute ago, shouldn't the question be, Coach, what is the quarterback depth right now? And just put him to see what they say right then on that. And then what if they come out and say, well, right now it's Kyle Allen. And then so-and-so, and then Cam's not healthy, he wouldn't be a scratch today. Is that what they would say? Do you force them to say that?
When you said that, I was thinking that they would probably say Kyle Allen is going to come out. Cam can't practice right now, so you can't throw him out with the
ones.
Yes. So, and even when he comes back, it's going to be a working in back thing. So I agree with that. So, and another thing, with this whole situation is I'm hoping, and I hate to throw off on the Redskins because I know you're a Redskins fan. I'm hoping that Tepper is not going to be a Dan Snyder.
Oh, metal.
Yes.
Put his hands in there.
That bothers me a
and
little
this
bit.
is what, but why I don't think you have to worry about that is because of where Tepper came from.
That was in the back of my mind too.
He
Pittsburgh.
was the affiliates with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Rooney family. They don't meddle. They only speak when it's needed to. They stay in the shadows and work the money. Other than that, I don't. But then again, it all comes down to that one interview that Tepper had. That he said he doesn't stand for mediocrity.
Yeah.
He wants to win. And word for word, who does that sound like? And it's not Dan Snyder.
It sounds like Jerry Jones.
It sounds like Jerry Jones.
Both of them I've thought about in my mind.
It sounds like Jerry Jones.
I don't want to have an owner like Snyder or Jerry Jones to the point where they meddle and they're going to spend all this money and they get themselves in a mess.
Yeah.
And how many times, you look back even when they got Dion.
Right.
And I know you were younger than that. But,
and
Dion was past his prime.
And listen,
he might not even been born yet.
Well, it doesn't matter, but that's beside the point. But that's what I'm getting
all these
to.
particular things that they spend all this money
You talking
on.
about Redskins?
I hate to throw off on Redskins, but I don't want Tepper to be like Dan Snyder, where he just.
Dan Snyder wants to be Jerry.
Oh yeah,
that's what it is. It all comes back, and the person that everybody wants to be, because if you're wanting to make money out of it, is Jerry. Jerry's the one that only bought the team for a couple $100 million and turned it into a $5.5 billion team.
I want an owner that's going to let his people that he puts in place
make the right
decisions.
It's like Robert Kraft. Bill Belichick does everything. Just Kraft, if he needs to, will have the final say.
And you still should have the final
Robert
say.
Kraft flies down to Florida and messes around with Asian women, but it's okay.
I would say,
is that what you want Tepper to do? Because he could do that, probably.
I want him to be able to have the final say on it, but I want him to let his people.
Tepper's awful handsy with his new wife. I don't know.
I have not seen.
Have you seen any of that, Zach?
I saw that.
When they were introducing, who was it? They signed with it. They were introducing the coach.
Yeah, Rule.
When they were introducing the coach, Tepper got a little handsy with his wife, and while they were taking pictures, grabbing on her booty, she had to tug his hand.
I will say, have y'all seen where he's pushing to try to put a roof on the stadium? Just come out yesterday, I believe.
To be honest, I think it's a smart move.
We've talked about this before. Why didn't they do it in the first place?
Yeah. The original them not doing it was Jerry had, like you said, the Jerry.
Well, here
everything was Jerry Richardson's way.
Yeah.
So he wanted certain things. He didn't want it to be an indoor facility. You've been in the Falcons facility.
Yeah,
I don't know about the new one. I've been in the old one.
No, the new one is beautiful.
I've been in the Rams dome, and going to a dome does totally feel different.
Oh, 100%
than going
different.
to a outside game. So Richardson wanted some of that. He wanted the weather involved, but then again, the weather in North Carolina is so
wishy-washy.
What do you? It could be really cold one day, and then hot and rainy.
This is seriously
snowy.
why I think NFL should mandate.
I think that's just a push to get a new stadium.
By
saying I want a
said
roof,
either roof or stadium.
That's what I'm saying. By getting a new roof, that's going to cost $250 million, and then he's going to say, "Well, let's get a new set." But the Carolina people in this Carolina should say, well, you got $1 billion, pay for the roof.
Personally,
that's all you bought the team, pay for the roof.
Personally, I think the NFL should mandate that every stadium should at least have a roof and one if it's retractable or not retractable, because there's no sense in weather being a factor in any of the games. Why can't you have half the league is in domes, half of them isn't? Home field advantage just because you're playing in the snow. I mean,
I know.
You want to play in 2 feet of snow, or you want to play on dry turf, or even make it a grass sod.
I think a lot of their teams, that's part of their. It's kind of like going to Fenway.
Zach, watch this.
Wow.
She had to grab his hand and put it on her waist. This is in the press conference to introduce Matt Rule. Hey, everybody. Well, here's our new coach. Let me grab my wife's ass.
We just overpaid for
7 years. He got more money in more years than Rivera ever got.
If he pans out, then, kudos to them. But I've just got a really bad feeling we're going to have to pay him a buttload of money to get him out of here.
Your coordinators are all college, Like your whole coaching staff is straight out of college.
I am excited about changing up the offense. I can say that.
I think Joe Brady's going to work.
Well,
for
is
you.
that good or bad for Cam then? If he's changing the offense,
I don't think he's going to. I don't think he will play for us.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I don't think he's in the equation. I think they're PR.
See, Andre's
right now.
down the hall telling us that we're a bunch of liars, Zach, for telling him that the Panthers weren't going to play for him. But what you just said was what I told him. I was like, everything you said this morning is pretty much what I was thinking, and I'm not a Panthers fan, so it was like you just said. They're not committing to him at all.
And there was a
they're
video
saying, but you keep bringing up health. To me, that's just saying, yeah, maybe not.
That's a red
Call me
flag.
maybe. Is that what they're doing to Cam right now?
It's so much of a red flag. Like, could you imagine having another player on another team and what bigger red flag than you have than to say, we just want to get him healthy. We just want to get him healthy. I don't know if he's going to be a starter. I mean, it is PR to the utmost right now.
Right.
And there's going to be some people that's mad that he don't play. I think we've seen what we can do with him.
Do you know why I think they keep, one of the main reasons they keep saying that is, though? It's because they have no idea what they're going to do if he's not healthy. They don't know which of the quarterbacks they're going to commit to if it's not Cam. They don't know if they want to see what they have in their third-round draft pick in Greer or if they're going to continue to ride it out with Kyle Allen. I just think they don't have a plan at all.
Are they a Super Bowl team next year?
No.
If Cam's a starter, are they a Super Bowl team next year?
No.
7-9.
So, my question is,
6-10.
then
Not even. Sorry.
the question is then, what is it? It doesn't matter then, Hunter, if Kyle Allen or Will Grier is the quarterback next year. If you don't think they're going to make the playoffs, if they don't think they're going to compete next year, if that's not what's going on,
but I don't think they want to go into his first season as a head coach rule and have a quarterback carousel throughout the whole season. I don't think he really wants to do that. I think he wants to be able to go in and say, all right, we're going to roll with this guy for the full season, barring any injury. And right now, it's literally just a game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo that they're having to play.
I think they want to be horrible, and I think they want to go get Trevor Lawrence.
Think they just got their eyes set on him that much. I mean, they've been throwing around Joe Burrow's name around trying to trade up.
He actually just said yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw this. I didn't know this. He only lives 2 hours. He only was born 2 hours away from Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, he's Ohio boy.
Yes, and he said he would be more than happy to play in Cincinnati. And he said he'll go to any team that drafts him. So he's not going to pull a John Elway or Eli.
He said, and I loved how he put it. He said the media just took what I said and just ran with it. He said, "I'll play for anybody." He said, He said the reason I said that I'll play wherever that I want or whatever. The first thing he said where it made it sound like he didn't play for Cincinnati, he came out and said that they have to draft me first. He said there's no guarantee that they even draft me. I know a lot of people are speculating that's what they're going to do, but at the end of the day, they still have Andy Dalton who's their all-time touchdown passing.
They've already said they're moving on, hadn't they?
I don't know if they have.
I think they're moving on.
Well, then all signs are pointing towards yes for Joe Burrow. But I'm glad that he came out and addressed that because it did make everybody make it seem like he wanted nothing to do with Cincinnati. And I'll be honest, I don't blame him. Carson Palmer said that he basically had to retire just to get out of there. And then Carson Palmer's brother is the one that is being Joe Burrow's throwing coach right now. That's who he's training with.
I did see where, since still in the NFL, where I think, trying to think of the two teams that have said that their picks are up for grabs.
The Giants came out and said the number 4 pick is up for trade. And
I want to say the 5th was too, but I might be wrong about that one.
Miami, isn't it?
It wasn't the 5th then.
Miami's
so there's opportunity for.
Third is Detroit.
That's who said it was. The third and the 4th pick is up for grabs. So,
well, if that's the case, neither one of then Detroit has come out and basically said we're not looking for a quarterback.
Yes, that's exactly what they did. And then I was surprised the Giants did that. So they must be looking to move down and get some extra stuff. So the Panthers could move up. Could they move up and get Tua? I mean, do we have anything to move up with?
Honestly, right now everything's on the board because you don't know what Cam's going to do. That should be, is he healthy?
The question is, do we give up the 7th round pick this year and a 1st round pick next year to move up?
Listen, all right,
or the 7th pick.
Well, okay, you're giving it to either. If that's the case, you're giving the pick to either. you're either giving it to the Lions or the Giants. I don't think either one of them would bat away from that. The Lions would be intrigued with it a lot, especially if Stafford has another down year, because you'll probably have like a top 5 pick, and they'll be in the running for either Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
All right. So the way I'm looking at it, Zach, is I think everyone panics too much on the quarterback thing. Like, what are you going to do for your Panthers? Your quarterback won 5 games last year with the 31st ranked defense.
Yeah.
Cam won 6 in his rookie year with the 24th ranked defense. So the number one thing y'all have to do is fix the defense. The question is, will Rule and the new guys be committed to that specifically? Now, as far as the quarterbacks go in the first round, I was trying to pull it up here, but overall, or let's just do first round quarterbacks. So let's go over the champions the last few years. How many? I think only one since maybe 2000 has won. They've only been 2 Super Bowls with number 1 picks. You know, Eli.
Wait, what do you mean? 1-1?
No, yeah, the one that won it.
What do you? I'm sorry, I'm confused though. What are you saying? Just first round picks?
Overall number 1.
Okay, so you're talking 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 1 overall 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking. I just want to make sure I'm. That's what I was trying to pull up. But anyway, I also want to look in some more first round picks. Here's ranking
First
everyone
round
since
picks.
2000.
Yeah.
You know, Jamarcus Russell, number 1 overall, 7-18. This is the 56th worst or overall quarterback since 2000.
Brady
Quinn was
Good
first
Lord.
round. Jake Locker, Manziel, of course.
We should be able to take these.
Josh Rosen.
Should be able to take these and get Mel Kiper
Tebow.
moved off of TV since he said they were can't miss.
EJ Manuel. I mean, look at all these first round.
We don't know about
Yeah,
Dwayne
no,
yet. Take him off.
Can't put
Brandon
that one up
Weeden.
there.
I'm gonna pull it up on the screen for the folks.
We don't know about Dwayne
So you
yet.
can see
Whoever
who I'm
made
looking
this,
at
take
that's
it
watching.
off.
I agree with that.
You
He's
got to
a
rank
starter.
him somewhere, Hunter.
You don't
I
have
guess.
to. You could say due to inefficient, data. We're just gonna
Brandon
exclude
Weeden,
him.
Cleveland 22nd. Matt Leinart,
Ooh, that one hurts.
number 10. Matt Leinart was one of the most can't miss people
Yeah.
ever. And we're
Matt
sitting.
Leinart is one of the best college quarterbacks that
You know
ever
why he
played.
got drafted? Carson Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Palmer was before him, and
Mhm.
that's why he got drafted.
Christian Ponder, 12th. Losman, 12th.
Horrible.
Daniel Jones, 6th
Danny
overall.
Dimes.
Blaine Gabbert,
I think
10th.
Daniel Jones is going to wind up being a good quarterback.
Patrick Ramsey was
I
the
think he will
first
be.
round draft pick. Kyle Wish I Was a Bowler was a
My
draft
God,
pick,
it's
19th.
David Carr.
Number 1
huge,
overall.
huge.
Joey
big
Harrington,
miss.
number 3 overall. Josh Freeman,
He
17.
had decent years.
Kyler Murray's at number 1 right now. We don't know.
Jason Campbell
Jason
wasn't horrible.
Campbell.
Ugh.
Jason Campbell was 32 and 47.
I would rate
Did
Jason
have more
Campbell-
touchdowns than interceptions.
I would rate Jason Campbell way above Robert Griffin. Would you?
RG3
No?
is 16 and 25 overall. He was picked 2nd. Of course, injuries. Blake Bortles was picked 3rd overall. Leftwich 7th. Bridgewater, Grossman, Vince
Vince
Young,
Young.
Marcus Mariota, Trubisky, Jameis, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Sam Bradford, Mark Sanchez, Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Chad Pennington, Jay Cutler, Carson Palmer, Alex Smith, Jared Goff. He made a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco, first one we get to that's won one.
Yeah.
That's
on the
Mr.
top
playoff
56
right there.
list.
He's not a regular season guy. He's
Joe
the exact
Flacco
he's
is
the
the-
exact opposite
Is
of
the
Peyton
goat.
Manning.
Joe Flacco's the goat.
If you could put Peyton Manning, if you could put Peyton Manning and Joe Flacco together, you'd have the best football player
If
ever.
Flacco was his backup and came and just played in the playoffs,
Yeah.
let Peyton Manning play the first quarter and Flacco play the rest. People that don't know about Flacco
You can't put Carson Wentz above Joe Flacco.
Jesus. Anyway, Wentz,
He would have taken
They're
that team to the
disqualified.
Super Bowl.
Luck didn't make Super Bowl. Stafford hadn't won a playoff game. Sean Watson, Vic didn't make Super Bowl. Eli won 2. Cam Newton made it to the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan made it to the Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers hasn't made it. Roethlisberger's made it and won. So Roethlisberger was the third one. Mahomes 4, Rodgers. So 5 out of 56 first-round quarterbacks have won the Super Bowl in the last 20 years. Brady's won 6 by himself, and he was picked where? 6th round?
Yeah.
I'm disqualifying everybody done that. If you put Lamar Jackson above Joe Flacco or Eli Manning, you're disqualified.
That's already won Super Bowls.
MVP?
I hear you, Cam. Matt
Cam's
Ryan.
ranked above them.
And Matt Ryan.
MVP?
There's Vic. But either way, I don't worry about the ranking as much
Yeah, I know.
as the 56 quarterbacks picked in the first round since 2000, and only 5 have won the Super Bowl. Maybe 10 have made it.
You want to know
So you got a 1 in 5 chance in the first round of making the Super Bowl.
Roethlisberger
He was.
on
He
there.
was
on there.
Yeah, he's just right there. At
You want to know
or
what
something
burns
like that.
my bridges?
Oh, I
Bridges,
didn't see that,
man.
sorry.
You know what burns my bridges?
What burns your britches, Hunter?
What burns my britches is every time I get on Twitter and they have a clip from the Colin Cowherd show, and he keeps poo-pooing Joe Burrow. He came out and said Joe Burrow is not
Joe Burrow
He
fan?
said Joe Burrow's not a great prospect. He's a great story. And he was talking about how you have to take into consideration hand size, his arm strength, his Wonderlic test. And I was like, because it's all about how it came out and he only had 9-inch hands. And I
Right.
was like, you mean to tell me that they thought Tom Brady was a great prospect and he went in the 6th round? Tom Brady only had 9.3-inch hands. I don't understand this whole hate on Joe Burrow, why they think he's only getting this number 1 overall pick because of the season that he had. He obviously showed some intangibles.
You walked right in to the trap, Hunter. You did. You walked right in to Deflate Gate. There's a reason Tom Brady had to deflate balls. He couldn't grip them.
Tiny hands.
Not tiny. 9-inch hands is big. If you measure your hands, they've got bigger hands than you do.
I know.
I
I know,
promise
but they act like the 9 inches is small. Jake Fromm came in with like underneath 9, and everybody was like,
I wonder what Murray was.
But
did you see what Jake Fromm said? Because they asked him at the press conference about his hand size. He said, yeah, it's the same hand size that went to 3 SEC championships.
Right.
So I was like,
But that's a college ball. That's not the NFL ball. NFL ball is a slightly bigger ball. Not that much, but it is. And I'm just telling you from experience throwing them, I can throw a college football further and better than I can an NFL football. And I've got smaller hands, and I do think if I could grip a ball, there's not a pass I don't think I could throw. And I know grip is that important. It was so important. Troy Aikman couldn't throw in the rain. You know, they would have to pound the basketball, pound the football. I think it's an important thing, but it's not, Hunter.
I don't think it's important at all.
It is, but it's not. It's during regular games. It'll depend on what happens in weather, and that's just the biggest thing, really, to me. He might even end up wearing gloves at some point, like Kirk Warner or some of the guys, and that's fine. Maybe that helps.
I mean,
and maybe
Patrick
it doesn't.
Mahomes
But,
had small hands. He just won the Super Bowl.
But I understand the hands thing on this as far as because what it does.
I think what made me more mad was the whole he's not a great prospect.
I mean, he only threw like 50 touchdowns, didn't he, or something like that?
Oh, yeah, no, he threw like almost 60. He set a record. Yeah, he set the NCAA record in a season for touchdowns.
Hunter, we just talked about
completion percentage.
Talking about prospects right before the show. What I was talking about is that a lot of this quarterback play, even in the XFL and in college, these guys have no. I just showed you 40 failures.
Yeah.
So even we get to the draft, Mel Kiper, all these NFL experts, drafting wise in the first round, they still have no idea what a quarterback is. So when a guy's benched in college or changed positions or goes to a different school or is recruited by this school and not that school, a lot of times it's about your fit, your system, and that they honestly don't know a lot about quarterbacks. They just don't. If the NFL has a failure rate of 80% first round quarterbacks,
I just hate the whole concept. He's not a great prospect, and then you're gonna sit there and act like Tom Brady was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
What do they not like about Burrow?
I guess it's just his hand size. Maybe he doesn't have the best arm strength. Well, Tom Brady doesn't have the biggest arm in the league, and he's won almost 7 Super Bowls. He's won 6.
The arm strength don't really bother me. I mean, Byron Leftwich had a heck of an arm.
Do you want to know?
George
do you want to know what hurts?
Jamarcus Russell might have had the best. He might have had the best arm ever.
That's what I was about to say. Do you
80-yard ball.
want to know what hurts a lot of these prospects coming out? It's the fact that Patrick Mahomes is so damn good. It's because he can stand there flat-footed and fling the ball 80 yards, and
Hey,
he's accurate.
I'm thinking
Everybody now is like, well, Tom Brady was the mold. Now they all want the Patrick Mahomes or the speedy Lamar Jackson.
I'm thinking that and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, wasn't it Randall Cunningham that threw on his knees like 65 yards or something ridiculous like that?
Randall might have even be 70 yards on his
Unbelievable.
on one knee. Cunningham may have had the best arm, and that's what. And when people looking at Cam on what he could do going forward, he's got to. And I know Randy Moss helped Randall,
Right.
but Randall was a good deep ball throw and a good pat. The Vikings were good before Randy Moss was there with Jake Reed and Chris Carter. They didn't have a problem throwing the ball. Randy made it unstoppable is what he did. They went from 10, 11 wins, something like to 15 on that. Cunningham, I really liked Cunningham. I thought he was a great quarterback, and I think Cam has to figure out a deep ball that or something like that he can go to in a certain situation for that. All right. So real quick, let's go through. This is Hunter draft needs prospects for all 32 teams. We're not going to do all of them, but we are going to do some of them here. Some of the important teams to our folks at home, or our listeners and watchers, our viewers, folks. We're based in North Carolina near Charlotte. We're going to start. We'll start with Cincinnati. Quarterback is their need. More positions to watch: defensive tackle, linebacker, wide receiver. If they trade back, do they still get another quarterback? I mean, at some point they have to, right? If Andy Dalton's gone, so
yeah,
the Bengals basically need to decide whether, I guess, Hunter, if they can get more picks by trading back to the quarterback they want, if it's not Burrow or Tua. What if they like Herbert? Speaking of Herbert, 6'6", I think he had the biggest hands.
Wouldn't be surprised.
So
and he's athletic, like he can run.
To me, if we're looking at size and whatever, if I'm a team, I like Herbert the best based on the size and the Roethlisberger aspect of it.
I liked Justin Herbert last year, but he decided to stay in school.
You did?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, it seems like, Zach, almost in basketball,
it's because he didn't want to go play for a bad team.
Is that what it was? In basketball, you pick your wing scorer if you can. In quarterback, you get the big quarterback in these first rounds. It seems to be at least pretty decent. Well, Phillip Rivers. Whether he made it has went so far or not, he's a big guy and he's went pretty far. Matt Ryan's not small. Cam Newton.
Oh, another thing, didn't know if you saw, Green Bay said they will in fact be looking to take a quarterback this year.
Stafford, Luck, Wentz, all these are big boys. Flacco's 6'4". I think Goff's pretty tall too.
He's like 6'3".
Alex Smith's the last kind of smaller guy that's been picked that high. And Palmer's a giant. You ever seen Palmer?
Yeah, he's just a big body guy. And you talk about Herbert, they was rumors out that the Panthers would take him at 7. We wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
I think he might be the sleeper. A lot of times the third guy that's picked is the best quarterback in the draft. There's something nobody wants to commit to.
Justin Herbert, or it's going to be the Love kid out of Utah State. They say the Love kid.
A lot of people's liking him.
They say they compare him to like how people were when Patrick Mahomes was coming out. He wasn't big on everybody's radar, but he's got the arm, he's got the size. He's just raw. I'm like, well, that's the same thing with Justin Herbert. They say he's just raw.
And you're talking about Cincinnati, and there is, if you're not sold on what's his name? I can't think. Burrow. Thank you. If you're not sold on Burrow, there's so many free agents out there. You don't have to. You can take Chase Young and get a quarterback.
Don't wish that upon. Don't do that. No, Washington has Chase Young.
Trade back for a bunch of picks and sign Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's no big deal with. I mean, there's
that's
quarterbacks everywhere.
That's what I'm trying to say with the Panthers, is that for you guys, if I'm running a GM, if I'm just playing franchise mode on the Carolina Panthers, right, and I'm not caring about feelings or fans or anything like that. I am trading Cam for all the picks I can get.
That's what I've been saying.
I'm playing a season with Allen and Greer.
Yep.
And then next year you can pick a quarterback, because I guarantee you, folks, 12 months from now, we're going to be talking about 3 or 5 other quarterbacks on how they could change an NFL team. And you can pick them. and you can get Russell Wilsons and the Bradys and the Romos in later rounds and other spots. So I just think smart money wise, Zach, just throwing money at any position right now in the NFL is almost a bad thing. That the Seahawks will capitalize with the Legion of Boom. Dallas, somebody was pointing the stat out, didn't do nothing in their window with Dak Prescott and his contract. So I think that's what you guys got to look for. If you can get into another quarterback smaller contract. So if you get rid of Cam and you draft somebody, that means the next 2 years, because Kyle Allen's under control, then another 3 years of under control. So you go the next 5 years of rules, 7-year deal with no money tied into the quarterback position, meaning more defense, more line. Yeah. And I think that's the best way, but sometimes stars change your mind.
But like, you talk about, anytime that a team is built, 99% of the time they're built through the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You go back to the Dallas, when they traded Herschel, and I know we're old school. They traded Herschel, and it hurt us as Dallas fans to see Herschel go.
Well, you hit on the draft picks, or you don't. Like the Hornets don't. Other teams, when you do, you do.
Yeah, but they loaded up, and if we can trade and load up on draft picks,
the Legion of Boom, most of them weren't first round picks either. So the whole Seattle thing was just
it was kind of like Golden State.
Hitting
they just got they picked their picks right.
Right. Steph and Clay weren't first picks overall. Draymond's second round pick. In Cleveland, the biggest need is the offensive tackle. They needed that before the season started. Then one of their linemen just got arrested for not as much weight in weed as Nate Newton's act. Newton had his pants. Newton had more than he had. Newton had a bread truck full of it. That's what he was driving twice.
Did they fire their coach yet?
Who? Cleveland? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They did fire.
Yeah, they hired a new guy.
Stefanski.
Was he Minnesota offensive coordinator?
Offensive coordinator, Minnesota. Stefanski.
I remember that right. I remember that now.
Nate wasn't caught once in a bread truck. He was caught twice in a bread truck full of weed. Both of them with more weight than Big Nate weighs. This is a solid tackle draft. It says sometimes, Zach, and you get 7 picks. And then the next year you get 7 picks. And I've always wondered why coaches say, we drafted Mayfield. So the next year, let's solidify the front line.
Yeah.
All these draft picks should be all offensive linemen and tight ends. And then the next year, all the draft picks should be defensive players with 7 people. And then in 3 years, you've got your quarterback. You can sign all these running backs off the street, which they have. Then you've got a solid offensive line and a solid defensive line. That's all you got to do. 5 linemen, 4 defensive linemen, and a linebacker. And in 2 years, you've got a good team. And then instead of mixing up saying, I want to try to get this wide receiver, I want to try to get this prospect, I think if teams would do that more, Dallas has been solid because their offensive line is good.
Yep.
That's why they've been solid. Not because their defense has been okay, but it's not been great.
And you can see why, because you kind of hit on something right there where you said, do not pick a running back in the first round. And they don't, for the most part. You might see Peterson come through. You might see Zeke come through. But you can sign those guys for beans because they're not getting paid anything. And you build the other position spots
Are y'all going to have to pay? Are y'all going to pay McCaffrey? I think y'all will. I think y'all going to be forced to keep selling tickets.
Going with the Panthers fan saying I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I wouldn't do it because he's that position. I don't know. I'm out on it right now with until we can get something else. He's just not going to win us the Super Bowl by himself.
Now, Tennessee says their pass rusher is their biggest need when they don't even have a quarterback. I guess Mariota's a quarterback right now.
No, Mariota's done.
Is he out of there too?
Yeah, they're saying they're even rumoring him to come here, and I'm hoping not. I won't be a
if y'all
Panthers fan
keep
if he
Cam,
does.
he'll be a good backup. But I don't see y'all doing all that.
They're talking about just extending Tannehill. Tannehill did when he came in, he won games.
That's right, but he didn't do anything to do it.
Not in the playoffs, but in the regular season he did.
Yeah.
In the regular season when he came in, he did.
That's Trent Dilfer.
Who, Tannehill?
Yeah.
Kind of. And that's another thing when people were talking about is someone good enough to win a Super Bowl? Talk about Phillip Rivers needs to retire, and I'm like, or Brady needs to retire. And the only thing I can think of is Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. And it doesn't have anything to do with, him out there dominating. He completed 47% that year and won the Super Bowl. So it's a turnover. It's all about turnovers. Don't turn the ball over at quarterback. I think I accidentally hit play on that.
Let your defense win the game.
L.A. Raiders
That's
receivers, they're
hard to-
number one, Hunter.
It's hard to look at. Las Vegas Raiders.
Did I say L.A.? I meant L.V.
Yeah.
That's hard to look at.
Quarterback. Maybe.
Vegas Raiders. That's how you have to say it, isn't it?
Quarterback, maybe.
Quarterback, maybe.
Quarterback.
They don't
maybe.
sound too. Mayock don't sound too convinced, does he?
He doesn't.
Like,
he
what do
doesn't.
they not like
he
about
doesn't
him?
sound convinced, and he doesn't sound not convinced. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what he did when he was asked about Derek Carr, what did he do? He highlighted all the good things he did last year, like his 70-something% completion percentage, the touchdowns that they scored. And I think they did that because they're making Derek Carr look nice as a trade piece. As if somebody else out there who really needs a quarterback, you got to remember, he had a
Zach,
70% completion percentage. Oh, he threw for 20
John
plus
Gruden
touchdowns.
loves Cam Newton. Y'all could get him if y'all really wanted Derek Carr.
I would trade him straight up.
I mean,
Money, do it. I don't
I'd
care.
trade him straight up.
I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean,
You get
I'm not a
you get a
Panthers fan, but I get
70% completion
called a hater for
percentage
that.
Straight
passer.
up. I'd take him right now.
The problem that's been with Derek Carr for years is sometimes he just gets injured.
He's only had one winning season, went 12-13 this third year. I didn't know he'd been in the league 6 years. I thought he'd been like 3 or 4. But like Hunter said, last year 70% completion. Year before that 69. Year before that 63. Year before that 64.
And these past 2
Those are numbers
years,
Cam Newton's ever seen.
Well, look, and it's got better every year but one, and it about stayed the same. So that's a promising
but
stat.
you gotta
He's never
remember-
thrown 20 picks either. He's never thrown 15 picks, Hunter.
No,
That's
he
huge.
hasn't. 2018 is what you got to remember is when Gruden came in. So Gruden's had Carr for 2 years now, and those back-to-back 2 years, he's almost the first year he almost had it, and the second year he had 70%
and Gruden
completion
is a
percentage.
quarterback's-
He's quarterback's coach.
Yeah.
So if you get a coach that can work with Carr as a quarterback's coach, he can show you that he can win games. And even with 63% completion percentage, he went 12-3.
Zach, close your eyes. If I said Kyle Allen threw for 4,000 yards, 70% completion, 21 touchdowns, and 8 picks, would you? I mean, where would y'all be with him right there?
Oh, he'd be starting.
And that's what Derek Carr did last year. 21 touchdowns and 8 picks. I don't understand what their deal is.
And
with not
I
wanting him
thought they
around.
overachieved.
Is his arm not just outstanding? Is there something like that to it, or they don't? Is there something they don't like him? And honestly,
I think he's good enough to be a starting quarterback anywhere in this league. The problem is just the chemistry between the quarterback and the head coach. Maybe him and Gruden just don't get along.
Somebody had said if he goes to New England, he would be awesome.
What, Derek Carr?
Yeah, because there were
Yeah.
some rumors that he would land in New England if Brady went to the Raiders. That would be hilarious.
in 12 games, Kyle Allen last year, 3,300 yards,
17
62%.
See, that's his interceptions.
The interceptions is the
and I
problem.
think even fumbles were. Does it have fumble? He fumbled the ball a lot.
Right. The fumble, the interceptions and turnovers is obviously the biggest problem with him. But I mean,
You're technically looking at him in a rookie season right there.
well, that's what I'm saying. That is rookie season. That's 30. Well, in 12 games, 33, 22 divided by 12. It's 276 a game times 4. Add another 1,100 yards. That's 4,800 yards. He almost throws for 5,000 yards if he plays for 16 games. I mean, that's 4,800 yards. That's more than.
I wanted to look at Peyton. Peyton Manning didn't have a really
1,100
good
yards.
rookie season. I was looking up his stats.
Good God, no. Peyton Manning didn't have like a good first 2 or 3 years.
His rookie season,
I mean, they don't all come out, hit the ground
Right.
running, you know?
Peyton Manning in first year was 26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. I'm looking for total yards.
33. Sorry, that's not 35. So 33 plus 1,100 yards would have been 4,400 yards last year for Kyle Allen if he'd have played 16 games at the same pace.
What was his now? He had 30. He had 3,700 yards passing his first year.
Who? Peyton?
Peyton, 3,700 yards passing,
So-
26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions.
So Kyle Allen's year, if he would have continued on, would have been in the mid-60s of all-time years with about 4,400 yards. Peyton Manning there's a Peyton Manning, Tony Romo, Rivers, Matt Ryan, Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. He's in there with some of them. So, Zach, the interceptions is the thing with him. It's kind of like a Jameis Winston thing to me. I think you got a Jameis Winston. on your team. But James has got a cannon though,
And he got his eyes fixed.
He did get his eyes fixed. Andre's excited about
I
that.
can't
one.
wait to see that. It's gonna be fun.
He's so excited about that. What was the last thing you were asking, Zach?
I was just talking about Peyton Manning. I was looking at his stats on his first year. I knew he didn't have a really good first year, and he threw 28 interceptions. That's horrible. Not saying Kyle Allen's Peyton Manning by no means.
Well, the thing about Peyton, so you think about him. What was he really good at? Figuring out what the defenses were doing.
Exactly. He was a master.
So his
at that.
rookie year, he wasn't good at that, right? And he threw a lot of ducks. Well, what happens when you don't know what the defense is doing and you're throwing ducks?
They're getting picked.
28 picks. I think once Peyton, and that was the one thing about when they were talking about Peyton, when people thought he was the GOAT or the best ever, I always disagreed with it because I didn't think he could throw the ball that well.
Talent-wise,
He never actually could throw. He didn't throw spirals. I know that's not that big of a deal, but if he's complete what he completes, but he was more of, I'm game planning you.
Yes.
Like, we're going to go up to the line. I see this matchup. I'm going to audible to an out, and then that guy will be open, and I'll hit that guy.
Yep.
Not as opposed to, he's not splitting needles with that duck.
That's why he had so much trouble with Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
When he played up against Belichick, it was like them playing chess.
Well, they sat in that zone, too.
Yep.
Waiting on Peyton to
they
duck that ball across the middle, Hunter.
Ducky.
All right, Hunter.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I got to move on quick.
XFL.
Yes.
I am now a new fan
Yeah.
of the Dallas football team, Zach. I'm back to Dallas, folks. I was thinking about it anyway. I was going to buy me a jersey with my name on it. Now I'm going to buy somebody else's name. Speaking of that, I don't think there's something going on with the XFL's jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do the custom jerseys anymore. So I don't know if they sold out or if they've stopped making them because people were making some maybe rude jerseys.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know the story. I don't know if there is a story.
Right.
I haven't found a story. All I'm saying is that we can't order the customs anymore because I was gonna go type in Armani Edwards one in there and just to bring it up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. So anyway, folks, the Dallas Renegades signed former Appalachian State star Armani Edwards as a wide receiver. For you folks, I know it's disappointing. I've always wanted to see him try to play quarterback, but he is going to play wide receiver. I did see his quarterback is Landry Jones, right, Hunter? I think I saw him throwing passes to him yesterday.
Yep.
So Landry Jones will be throwing passes to Armonte Edwards now in the XFL Dallas Renegades, and I'm excited about that. I hope I get to see that game this weekend. I'm trying to pull it up for the folks. And figure out what network all that's going to be on. Hunter, any news and notes this weekend from the XFL that you wanted to talk about? Anything special?
PJ Walker is damn good.
He's playing well.
If you have not tuned into an XFL game and you can see that Houston is probably going to come on at a certain time, I can go ahead and tell you Houston will be playing at 4 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. So they're starting to play these games a little bit later and later in the days. On Sunday, Houston and Dallas will be playing, so that'll be a matchup. You can go ahead and call that an in-state rivalry. We're going ahead and we're naming rivalries. Okay, we can do that now.
There are two teams in the state.
Yeah, but Houston, PJ Walker, he's a stud, and PJ Walker credits Andrew Luck and Jacoby Brissett for his XFL success. And the reason why a lot of people don't know this, PJ Walker was on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the scout team for the Indianapolis Colts while Andrew Luck and Jacoby Brissett were there. So you're wondering as well. Neato info, absolutely. You know, people probably also wondering, well, if Jacoby Brissett had this kind of success in Indianapolis's offense after Andrew Luck retired, why wouldn't PJ Walker have had this kind of success in the NFL because think about it. He's playing the same exact position at the XFL. He's playing it at a higher level, just has better weapons with the Colts than he does with the Roughnecks. So you mean to tell me he would have significantly worse numbers? I'm not saying he would have statistically crazy numbers because he would be playing higher competition.
Yeah.
But he could go out there and win 4 or 5 football games and be on a rookie contract. You wouldn't have him. You wouldn't have to pay him big money like they did or whatever Jacoby Brissett's getting paid because he's not on a rookie contract. I mean, he's on a serious contract that they traded for him from the Patriots at the time. And then I was just looking at this as well. They came out with passing grades on the season so far. Josh Johnson. I said Josh Johnson would be an X factor when he finally got a week under his belt in the LA Wildcats offense. He had gotten thrown into the fire last week in week 2 after only being with the team for like 4 days, and got to start that Saturday, and they looked horrible. And then he comes out, gets a full week of practice in with this team, and absolutely torches the DC Defenders. And he comes out so far throughout the season so far and has the highest quarterback grade of 78. I don't know it doesn't tell me exactly what the perfect grade would be, but the top 4 are Josh Johnson of the Wildcats, Jordan Ta'amu of the Battlehawks at 77, Cardell Jones of the Defenders, 72.1, PJ Walker, 69.7. Then there's Landry Jones, Aaron Murray, who hasn't played. The bottom 3 are horrible. The gap between Landry Jones and Aaron Murray. Landry Jones is 61.1, Aaron Murray is 49.3, and it just goes down from there. Matt McGloin, 48.2, and yeah, we need to change up the whole offense at halftime. You sure it wasn't just you, buddy? And then Brandon Silvers, 42.8.
I got a game changer as far as the XFL and getting some quarterbacks and some of these guys. And, what about Hunter graduate transfers?
Well,
Think about those guys, or the guys with the fifth year option. Instead of going and playing for free at a different school, if you've already got your degree,
you could say this.
Why wouldn't you go to the XFL?
You could use the quarterback that just transferred to Georgia for his 5th year.
Okay,
he was the Wake Forest quarterback for the last 4 years, and it was the 5th year. He was a graduate transfer, and now he's going to play at Georgia this year.
Right.
Instead of going to play at Georgia, you could be playing in the XFL right now.
Is he an NFL prospect?
I'm not sure.
Especially if you're not an NFL prospect.
I'm not sure if he's an NFL prospect, but
what's the value of going to Georgia instead of the XFL? Is the question that these guys?
It's probably.
What do you think, Zach? Because if you're already graduating, you're going 5th year, you're showing up for PE classes, I guess, because you have to be a student, so you're taking 9 hours of nothing, or if you want. Now, some of them are taking real classes and finishing up graduate degrees and whatnot. That's fine, but let's say you're what if Vince McMahon walks in your office or walks in your house and you're one of these top recruits, Zach, and he says, "This is what we're going to do. Not only are we going to give you $75,000 a year, we're going to give you 4-year guaranteed in-state tuition to UNC Charlotte." So, what if the XFL started tying educational, bonuses, grants / to these contracts? You see what I'm saying? So that would be about $25,000-$30,000 of school money to UNC Charlotte, and you'd have to be it'd have to be in-state school programs, so wherever the recruits are, wherever they are, to keep the cost low, and they could find a school under $10,000 a year, like Charlotte's like $6,500, I think, for in-state. So if you do that, let's just say at 10, you got $40,000. We're gonna give you $40,000 a year for you to save while you're in the XFL. So every year you're in the XFL, you get paid $50,000 plus the $40,000 for the school. Or just once, your one-time signing bonus is that's what I would do, a $50,000 one-time school signing bonus, and then you can you can do whatever you want to with it. But what I'm saying is that if you're a mom, if you're sitting there and you got a kid and maybe he's not that good in school, and you know that a lot of these kids aren't that good in school, and you got the XFL or Vince McMahon or whoever comes in and says, "I'm going to give you $50,000 to play, and then $40,000 in future college money. You can go now while you're in the off season, or you can go afterwards."
Riddle me this: if you are a player and you've been out of the NFL for just a few years, but you're still working out and you're still trying to prove to them that you can get back in the NFL, why would you not go play in the XFL for a year to show that you can still play? And that name that I could just tell you right now would be Des Bryant. Des Bryant was just seen.
He's too big a star. But
I know
people
it's
a little bit less than him.
But
I totally understand.
But you gotta understand,
Percy Harvin should be doing it.
Yeah, why not?
But not Dez. Dez deserves a workout.
Okay,
he might be a Hall of Famer.
He did get a workout. He got
signed by the Saints.
He got a workout with the Saints and tore his Achilles.
Or let's
I
just
can't
say
believe he went back to them.
Someone that you know how they miss star people a lot of times too.
Yeah, right. That's a huge thing.
So if you don't get
Romo, Flacco,
I'm gonna say
neither one. Carson Wentz, Randy Moss
at Marshall, right?
Well, he was supposed to go to Florida State.
Florida State, but
Romo,
he got in a lot of trouble.
He did.
Romo, Carson Wentz, Joe Flacco, none of them went to a big school. Roethlisberger didn't. He went to Miami of Ohio. Favre went to Southern Mississippi. Not everybody went to Michigan like Tom Brady, so he was still a golden boy. He was a golden maze boy. But
6th round.
you're
draft
right
pick.
on that.
What if you're a misstar player, like I was saying, and you go in there and you don't want to go to this college that you're never going to get recognized unless you just get, lucky, like, what was it, Jerry Rice? All these guys that went to a lesser school, and you go in there and you just destroy the XFL and you get drafted. Plus, you're getting paid.
Right.
Who don't want to get paid a decent salary? I mean, what is it? 50,000 is the lowest.
Right. And I'm not going to bring it. Well, it's 27,000 is the lowest guaranteed. And then you get paid on bonuses of wins and roster bonuses and starters. So starters get paid extra. If you're on the roster, you get paid for being there. That's the 27. And then for wins, you get paid.
How good
as well.
of that could have been for like?
That's just the smallest contract.
So even some players are from around here.
Well, Zach, that's what we were talking on our Saturday show. So we did the math. What did I just say? $27,000. So you're coming out of high school. If I say, Zach, your son Judah, we're going to give you $27,000 this year, or UNC or UNC Sharp, or let's say App wants him to come play for free. XFL is going to say we're going to give you $27,000. Tuition for 4 years at Charlotte is $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
So your first contract before you ever play a down or anything is going to pay for your education. That's before you win a game, make a roster, start, do anything. Then if you play a second year, you've already paid for your college. So you get to keep that money. It's basically like a $27,000 bonus. So now you're in year 2. You've already paid for your college, and you've got $50,000, $60,000 slash into the bank that you used, or that you could have paid for rent and improved your home situation with your family. Or you could all still be poor, and you could be in your second year at App State or Wake Forest or someone like that.
Yeah,
that's your options right now on some of these kids that we're kind of talking about.
And we're going to see here too, because you're not going to see a lot of it until, number one, the league is established over a couple years. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I give it
definitely
2
needs-
years.
that
I give it
definitely
after 2 years.
Does that make sense? And then I think they're going to wait and see who the NFL picks out of, if it is a farm league. Does that make sense? Like who gets picked out of it?
They did the same thing with the AAF. When the AAF dissolved, the NFL went out there and grabbed certain players that they saw that actually had talent. I know for a fact that the Cleveland Browns had their third string quarterback came from the AAF.
Right. Most of these guys right now probably aren't draft eligible anymore.
No,
So they've already went through the draft process and already done that. So what we're saying, like Zach's saying, is after you go a couple years, and once you start signing the 18-year-olds or getting the 19-year-old transfers, the people who flunk it, especially the people that flunk out of school or get kicked out of
That's
school.
going to be a big one too.
What about those? If those kids from Ohio State, were they juniors?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
If they're younger than juniors, they don't have any other option but to go to the XFL.
Let's say Maurice Clarett back in the day. You
Oh,
remember
I'll
that
bring him up every
situation?
Saturday to Tom, because he's an Ohio State fan. He would be in the NFL.
I
Or
mean,
XFL.
he did something, got him in trouble. I don't remember what it was, and he did only play 1 year. He came out.
Benefits and all that other stuff.
So he didn't do well in the NFL. He could have went to XFL, got himself back in shape, and then jumped in the NFL. Because I mean, that's just like another college.
Or he could have never went to Ohio. A lot of these running backs, to me, Zach. I mean, hate to bring up a local kid, but the kid up here that's really fast.
Keywan Pryor.
I wasn't trying to say his name, but we'll say his name. But all right,
I
Keywan.
thought you just couldn't remember it.
No,
Sorry.
I was just Keywan.
My bad.
He's gotten offered to go to Catawba College.
Yeah.
Do you not think his speed and elusiveness would translate immediately out on an XFL football field?
Oh, it makes
at
me mad
19
that North Carolina won't even give him a shot. I
19
mean,
years
what do
old.
we have up there that he can't play on? I mean, so put him out there in XFL and let him just go. Put him in space and
It's
let
all
him
about
go.
size with these guys, and I understand it, but at some point, these guys. I think Zach, it is a you had to see him in person type thing, and I can't believe that. I just think he would be a perfect example.
The XFL is a great example right here because I totally forgot. The LA Wildcats have Sean Oakman. Sean Oakman was kept out of the NFL because of an allegation that he had a sexual assault. It was dropped because it wasn't true. It kept him out of the NFL. He would have been a top, if not a first round, a second round draft pick. Was the big kid from Baylor, the one that everybody was like, it was like a meme of his own picture. He didn't have a shot at the NFL. He's in the XFL now. He's playing with the LA Wildcats. I mean, that would not have happened he would not have had another opportunity to play football and maybe try and get back to the NFL if it wasn't for this, because he couldn't go back and play in college.
I think these XFL teams or people in charge need to be looking at the college quarterback situation. And I'm not just bringing up Chaz, but what happens when a quarterback wants to transfer? Like Chaz didn't want to leave North Carolina, but let's say a different kid, and he does want to leave school and he does want to go somewhere else. I think, and like I was saying with the graduate transfers, I think the XFL needs to be on top of. Hey guys, give us a look. On
I'll say this. I think that is going to be the one thing that is holding back the XFL maybe for the rest of the season. And it's that there are only maybe 3 to 4 teams that you will watch out of 8 teams. So it means 50% of the league only has good quarterback play. And it showed right there whenever I brought up, the credit reports. It was the top 4 were in this almost all in the 70s. And then there's Landry Jones, who's sitting right there in the center at like 61%. And then the bottom 3 were all in the 40%. It's like, I don't want to say it's passer rating, but it was just quarterback grades. And so, that's just what's going to be tough is equivalent court. Like, we know there's always going to be at least one bad team in a league.
Right.
Someone has to come in last. Someone has to come in first. But that doesn't mean that they can't all be competitive and all have competent quarterback play. Where I watch some of these quarterbacks play, like Mac McGloin, he looks like he has no idea what the hell he's doing. Brandon Silvers, his throwing motion is disgusting for the Seattle Dragons. But then you watch P.J. Walker and you watch Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson, who played a stint in the NFL, he's a veteran. He's like in his 30s now. Landry Jones has moments. Cardale Jones, P.J. Walker, Tamu. Like when you watch them, they're like, okay, they could quarterback at the next level if called upon. Not saying they're starters, but if they're called upon, they could quarterback at the next level. But the guys below it, Aaron Murray, we know why he didn't pan out in the NFL. Matt McGloin, Brandon Silvers. Once quarterback play gets stronger, I think the league will get stronger.
As soon as McGloin gets a playbook that he agrees with, Hunter, he'll be ready to rock.
Right.
They need to bring us the Madden playbook out there for him.
Other than that, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about the XFL other than if you're not watching it, there's really no, unless you have just something else you'd much rather watch, which I don't know why, you need to be watching it. It's good football. It's good football. And for everybody that always wants to scream, oh, we're still so many weeks out from the NFL football. Oh, no football. Here's your little bit of a stint. You've got this to lean upon now. And I'm going to let you guys finish because I do have to go.
Okay.
See you, Hunter.
It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I'm going to let y'all finish.
Real quick before you leave, are you going to the next game?
The next game?
Tonight.
No.
Okay. I got to send the email. All right.
Dang it. I meant to bring you.
You got my charger?
I got your charger. I do have your charger.
Not with you.
Not with me. It's on my dresser. I was looking at it. It's on my dresser.
All right.
But I do have it. Look at that. Believe it or not, I will say this. There are no thieves in Spectrum Center because I don't think anybody shows up.
Yeah, she said she couldn't find it. I'm like, well, one, she probably didn't look too hard.
She probably
didn't know what it looked like either.
That or she didn't look at all.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing. Like nobody sits in that spot besides us. So, all right. Well,
we were disconnected there for a second for you folks watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're okay. All right, Hunter. We're gonna move on. We're gonna do some
go right ahead.
NASCAR real quick as you
go
walk away.
right ahead.
Friday.
I'll leave it up to
Friday, Hunter.
I thought we were doing one tomorrow too.
Well, that was if it's gonna be Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. It's up to you. I don't care.
We can do the one tomorrow too.
All right, Thursday and Friday this week.
Thursday, Friday, we can get 3 of them in.
All right, folks. That's the sports, the Shock Joxx podcast. Hunter is checking out. He's got some important things to take care of today. Bye, Hunter. All right, Zach. The big news that I think in NASCAR going forward right now is, and I want that door open because I want to see what the kids are. Who closed the door to begin with? Was that Milton?
Yes.
All right, bringing up some NASCAR.com real quick. Apparently, it looks like, Zach, that we may have a very exciting competitive season of NASCAR racing ahead of us because the Chevrolets, it seems like, may have fixed their speed problem from last year and are starting to be fairly competitive here for us.
True.
I'm trying to pull up the...
I've got it on mine. Oh, you want to do it for everybody
you
else?
want to do the results or whatever.
Joey Logano won the race in the Ford. I can't even pronounce the guy's name. Yeah, DiBenedetto. That's a tongue twister. He finished second. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who won the pole at Daytona, he finished third at Las Vegas Speedway this week. And Austin Dillon finished fourth. Now, he was talking about Chevrolet getting back into the swing of things with their speed. Ford did finish 1-2. But Chevrolet was 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you had Ford 7 and 8, Chevrolet 9 and 10, Ryan Blaney in 11th with a Ford, Clint Boyer with in the 12th with a Ford. Then you had Bowman in the Chevrolet. Then you had Ford. It took all the way to 15th until you got to Kyle Busch that was running. So the Toyotas, the first spot Toyota had was 15th with Kyle Busch. So Fords and Chevys dominated the top 14. And if you look at it, I was just telling the people watching, Joey Logano, I can't pronounce the guy's name. It just can't come off my mouth right.
DiBenedetto?
Yeah, it just doesn't come out of my mouth right. Stenhouse Jr., which won the pole at Daytona.
Right.
So you had Ford, Chevy, Ford. It was a Ford Chevy dominating at Las Vegas.
I mean, this is a mile and a half track, and you've got Johnson up in fifth, who was competing for the lead there for a little bit. Bubba Wallace finished sixth. Bubba Wallace finishing sixth on a mile and a half, Zach, tells you what you need to know about Chevy having some speed there. It's not a Hendricks car, and he's come out and said that they're almost Hendricks fast, but they're not quite that fast. So for him to end up fifth tells you where Chevy is. And you said Toyota down in 15th.
Yeah, 15th first. That's Kyle Busch.
And I'm not saying that I want Toyotas to do bad. What I'm saying is I want all of them to be good.
Some parity.
To where you don't go in the track. Like, last year you'd get to the tracks and you'd see the Chevrolets. They're going to be outside the top 6, 7, 8, really. So it would be nothing but Chevrolets from like 7 through 15. And that would be all the Hendricks and everybody was. And then it was just nothing but Toyota and Ford on the top. This week, Logano led 54 laps. Stenhouse a Chevy 30. Austin Dillon 1 in Chevy. Harvick 92 in a Ford. Blaney 19 in a Ford. Ford obviously had the best cars. Chase Elliott had 70 laps. I was listening to the race this week instead of watching out on the golf course. It was a beautiful Sunday, so I went with Calvin and for his birthday, and James Mason and Glenn Moore out to Lincoln Country Club. And so we was just listening to that, going back and forth as it went on. And I actually I got home in time to catch the last like 5 laps, and I caught the yellow flag for Logano, and pretty much the same thing happened at Daytona, Zach. As soon as they crossed the start-finish line there with 1 lap to go, everybody wrecked. And this time they threw out the caution, and Logano had already passed the start-finish line, giving him the win.
I actually had to work, and I missed the race. I did catch I would go use the restroom or go on break, and I did catch some racing while I did that in the break room. And Logano was pretty dominant that I could tell. Stenhouse was up at the front a good bit. And I need to go back to my stats.
Let me tell you about DiBenedetto real quick. Yeah, I know you can't say his name, but what's funny about him is Glenn, that's who he had in the pool, in whatever pool he was in. And so he said, I got the 21 car DiBenedetto. And I said, oh, you ain't got a chance. I get home and he comes in second. Like, we didn't hear his name the whole time during the race. And all of a sudden near the end, he got back up and around there.
And, Chase Elliott's run good the last couple of weeks, but he hadn't finished. I think he's finished just outside top 10 both weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But he was running up front.
He led 70 laps. Yeah.
So he was running really well. So
he wrecked, I think.
like
They blew a tire or something.
I think I'd like to see Chase Elliott get in the winner's
I want
circle.
Jimmy to get that 84th victory to tie those guys or at least he break them with the 84th victory. And he's going to be in. And I'm encouraged by between Daytona and this race about just seeing the Chevys.
Yeah. Where are they racing at this week?
They're in California this week. So you do have this is Jimmy has dominated this track, his home track in Sonoma, California. Practices Friday. I don't have anything looking at my schedule for Thursday.
I was trying to get my schedule up here.
Friday, Xfinity Series practice. at 3 and 5. NASCAR Cup Series at 4 and 5:30. Saturday qualifying will be at 1 for the Xfinity, 2:30 for the Cup. The Xfinity Series race will be on 4 o'clock on WCSL 1590 AM, 92.3 FM here in Cherville. We'll have that on the radio. And then Sunday, of course, we'll have the race at 3:30 in the afternoon from Auto Club 400, California on MRN Motor Racing Network, KTC Broadcasting, WCSL 1590 AM, 92.3 FM. So qualifying will be Saturday, so we can't even talk about that even on Saturday's show that we do. So, folks, we'll do our best to talk a little bit about it, but about all we can do right now is just tell you some TV times and what's coming up. So, congratulations to Logano winning this weekend. I'd have been mad if he'd have won the 500 after wrecking the field. I was upset about that wreck.
Yeah.
I think NASCAR needs a way. So, Elliott last year won at the Roval, and he wrecked. I can't remember if he was leading or one of the first 3 or 4 cars there, and he wrecked into the Roval. Well, everybody passes him while he's sitting there wrecked, right? And they throw the caution flag. But they threw the caution flag after only like 5 or 10 cars passed him instead of the whole field in turn 1, and he got to go back in like 8th place or something.
Yeah.
Instead of going back into the back of the pack. Like, if you cause the wreck, shouldn't there be some type of so what Logano did was he caused a wreck at Daytona. Not only did he wreck the car in front of him, the 2 cars in front of him, he also knocked out 10 to 15, 20 cars behind him, and he was unscathed. So you're the cause of the wreck, but yet you're not penalizing him. I'm not saying park him or maybe black. I'm saying send him to the back of the line at least, to where he has to work back up through the field. Like, they have one of those rules that you get sent to the back of the line. They got a bunch of those rules where you end up doing that. I think that should be one of the ones where something to the nature of, if you cause the wreck or something, you got to back up. And that it may have to be a judgment call. Like, what do you do? So there's got to be somebody that makes that judgment
somebody's
call.
got to have to look at it and see it, because there's nothing different than the line that they have to stay above.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they go under the line, they get penalized for that. They get black flagged, I believe it is. So there's going to be something that they should do. And it might not. It might have to be situational stuff. It's going to be tough. It's kind of like replaying the NFL. It's going to be a judgment call. I did look up odds for, you're talking about Jimmy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up odds. I was pleasantly surprised when I seen Kyle Busch is number 1 odds to win for Fontana this week.
Sure, yes.
Kevin Harvick and him are tied for the top. Joey Logano is 3rd on the odds, 6-1. They were 5-1. Keselowski 7-1, Kyle Larson 15-2, Truex 15-2, Chase Elliott 8-1, and then we get into Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's 16-1. He's won 2002, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2016. So very good odds of winning at Fontana, California this week. Didn't know if you've seen that.
What?
I just pulled that up a minute ago. I thought that was interesting with Shaq's daughter.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Joe Montana
A
rookie
little bit farther down, Shaq's daughter at almost 13 is dunking the basketball, or almost dunking the basketball. So should be a fun weekend. I'm off Sunday. I'm excited about it, so I can catch some of the race
and some XFL action too.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I forgot that Houston was playing Sunday, and I missed the game. That is the one team that I want to watch.
All right, Zach, I think we might wrap it up here today. If you got anything else to add to it. Hey, real quick, I do want to go over this. Here's the ratings so far for XFL. Saturday rating, 1.9. Sunday on Fox, 2.05. NBA, they got more than the NBA, the PGA, NCAA, basketball, and soccer, more than all of them.
Somebody was hating on them today.
XFL had more viewers than everything.
Were dropping. You're automatically going to drop a little bit in ratings.
Right. They dropped after the first week, right?
Yeah. First game, it's not a casual fan.
But this was week 3 ratings. This is this week's ratings, and they drew more than NCAA basketball. If you're not watching a top 15, 10, 20 teams play, and why would you watch number 50 versus number 85 in college basketball? The NCAA tournament baffles me that people get excited about these matchups, because you do the math, Zach. If you say a 12 upset of 5, well, let's times those by 4. And really what happened was number 48 beat number 20. Should
Right.
we be excited about that?
No.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Especially as much.
Is that a
parity
huge
as
upset?
No, I mean Duke just got beat by Wake Forest last night.
Right.
There's so much parity.
And almost
in
got beat by
basketball.
Carolina. State waxed Duke and then got beat by Carolina. How does that happen? How do you
There's just so
explain
much
state?
parity in NCAA.
All right, folks, that's going to do it. I'm going to wrap it up. Play a little music out as we get out of here on KTC Broadcasting Shock Joxx episode 22.